Hi, my name is Greg, Soul Searching Gaijin. That's me. So today's video is going to be about a live electronic music rig, which I just finished setting up last night. Reasons why I am going in that direction. I'll explain what I have in the rig, how it works, how I have it hooked up, and then also, and before, just give you a little bit of history about who I am, how I got here, what I'm hoping to achieve. So, I'm 54. I'm starting over in life. Last year, 2023, late August, I moved from New York City with my wife of 20 years back to her home country, Japan. So currently I'm living in Osaka and loving it, but learning Japanese, but really don't speak the language. So in many ways, I have a lot of time, more time than I've ever had in my life, and that's been the best blessing for me ever. I had to really get to know myself and get to be comfortable with who I am, the choices I made in life, and I really have no regrets. When I was younger, I played in a lot of bands. I'm basically a drummer, but always, well, I don't want to say it because I write music. I write a lot of music. I just never felt comfortable I'm not really good with social media, and I'm not a good promoter. I just really enjoy doing it and making the music. Getting it out there was another thing. And I always had insecurities about perfectionism. For about 10 years, I had a recording studio in Philadelphia. So I would spend a lot of time on the computer agonizing over, I'm a good editor, but you would just get lost in the sauce. You have so many options. And when I came to Osaka, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. I just was like, I want to rekindle that passion, and give it a chance. Many people don't get a second chance to start over in life. So I started a YouTube channel, and the idea with that was to try to make videos for my music, and it was great. I learned so much about editing and filming, being on camera, which I'm not very good at, but I'm getting better. Still lots of ums. I'm trying not to do that. Yeah. That got me very distracted because I started putting more attention into the videos. And the music was like, oh, I'll make videos and then I can put music to it or use some music that I already have and get my stuff out there. And I spent a lot of time making videos that nobody watched, except a handful of people, probably family and a few friends. I haven't promoted my YouTube channel to anybody from my past, aside from family. I just want to see what I can do now on my own, starting over from scratch. So where does that bring us to? So yeah, then I made a bunch of videos, maybe about 10 or so the first couple months. I loved it, learned a lot. And then I had some health issues with my gut. Had to change my diet up quite a bit. My mother passed in February. So for a few months, I wasn't there for that, and I felt really had to work through feelings of guilt and just kind of feeling down for a couple months. And so I kind of fell off the YouTube train. But when I got back on, about a couple months ago, I just changed what I was doing. I was like, you know what? Let's just make this a little easier and just film yourself doing what you love to do, making music, and trying to do it live as opposed to having everything be so perfect and finished working and staring at a computer screen for hours at a time. I just wanted something much more immediate and rewarding. And I've been having a blast, man. I mean, I only have a handful of videos of me doing this so far, but they're great, man. They're a lot of fun. I'm not saying the videos are great. I think the music's good. It stands on its own, but I'm having so much fun doing it. It's a really enjoyable process. So hence this live music setup. In doing that, making videos with music, I decided I want to perform live solo. I'm going to try to do that this year in Osaka. And that's a little terrifying for me. I've never been on stage by myself. I've always been with a band behind a drum set. So this is all new. Even just the live studio videos I've made in the past few months, that's a first for me. And I'm a noob at it, but I've been involved in music and I'm a bit of a gearhead, as you can see. I'm good with equipment and I can learn it pretty quick. It's just a matter of me mastering it in a different way right now. So that being said, let's kind of go over and I'll show you what's happening over here. Okay, so hopefully I won't get in the way too much, but the whole idea behind this is since I'm new to this performing live, I wanted to give myself a safety net in case anything happens, because things always happen on stage which you're really not prepared for, and it's a little trickier when you are working with electronics. All kinds of bugs and things can happen. You can press the wrong button and just be totally screwed. So I wanted to give myself some stuff to fall back on. So the crux of my setup is my Digitact, which it's the new one, Digitact 2, which is great. I love it. I'm learning all the new possibilities in it. I did have the original Digitact, which I loved, but I recently upgraded a few weeks ago, and it's amazing. So this is basically doing drums and handling some samples and sequencing extra samples and drums that I have here on the SP404. And then also I have things that I can trigger live for transitions, just some little vocal one-shots and things to keep it interesting. Over here I have another drum machine, the LXR, which is, I dig it. It's really cool. It's got some nice performance features, which I really enjoy. Bass is coming from here, but also I use the bass line, which I'm not great at. I put it in the rig because I really want to master it. It has so many hands-on controls that you can really sculpt the sound and go in a lot of different directions with a very simple pattern. And also it's pretty performance oriented, which I love. Over here, my Digitone, which is going to handle the majority of my synths, key sounds, pads, whatever you want to call them. This is my master clock. And so I have this going out MIDI into the Digitact through a MIDI splitter. And also the other send is going into a box which I have down below everything, which sends MIDI to everything else. The Digitact is going MIDI out into the SP, so I can sequence the SP. And I also have over here, I don't have it incorporated yet, a little oratorio key step, which I plan on making some sort of stand that I can just latch on and have the plugs here. I can easily plug it in, and this is going to be able to allow me to play keyboards live and trigger to play 4 different sounds off of the Digitone. Things that may not be sequenced, I don't know. I want to be able to not just play back patterns, but to actually improvise and play melodies and chords on stage, which would be great. Now this over here, I'm really excited about. Model 1.4 Play Differently DJ mixer is pretty amazing. I've seen some, I just fell in love with it watching it from a couple YouTubers that I check out all the time, and it's just a really performance-oriented mixer, giving you lots of options on filtering. It's just and it sounds amazing, all analog. It's really, really beautiful. And I don't even know how to use it. I just turned it on yesterday for the first time, and it took me 20 minutes to realize that I have to turn up the trim knobs to get any sound out of it. And I'm like, oh, I don't like to read manuals. I'm that kind of guy. And then over here, I'll slide over a little bit for you. Over here I have a Zen delay, which I love. That's set up on my FX Send number 1. And that after here, we're going into spectral reverb. Who makes this? GFI Systems? I don't know, but it's a really nice, beautiful reverb slash shimmer. Does this modulation, some echoes, but I mainly use it for reverb. And that's my one chain. And then out on FX Send 2, I have the Microcosm, which everybody knows and loves. It's really cool. And then over here I have a Grand Canyon delay, which is basically hardwired into the bass line, just giving me more control over, that's a mono instrument, and I take it from mono and convert it into stereo just to give it a little bit of stereo width and then allow me to do some live tweaking with the sound. So yeah, and that's about all we have for that. I wanted to put everything in a case because this is all new. So when I do a show, the last thing I wanted to do was have to plug in 1,000 pieces, carry all different types of equipment. All I really have to do with this setup is just unplug a few things, which are all labeled in the back, which allows me to put the cover and case on. I can strap the stand to the outside of the case. It's on wheels, have a nice handle, and I can just roll on out to the gig and just set up the stand, put it up. I have one cord for everything plugged in here, and I'm just going to have a stereo out, which is going to go to the front of house or the PA, and I can monitor from here, which makes it really easy. Takes a lot of pressure off. I can be set up in like less than 5 minutes, and everything's nice and tight and secure. A little messy in the back, but I did my best to make it as clean as possible. And then under here, this is the messiest part because I have all my power cords, my MIDI cords, my breakout power box for all my effects. Everything's right under here, so in case something happens, I can easily access it. Over here, on this side, forget it. This is staying where it is. I'm not touching it. Everything's wired really nice and neat underneath all the gear. So yeah, so there we go. And then I'll show you how I have it hooked into the rest of the studio in a quick sec. All right, so I have the live rig here. I'm going to take a stereo out into my main board, Big 6, which is my sound card. And with one little cable over here, if I just plug my USB into my Digitone, my whole live rig will run in sync with the rest of my studio. So I use Studio One, and what's not in the live rig is SH4D, another relatively new piece of gear, which I just love the sounds. I'm basically using it as a sound module, not necessarily a groove box at the moment. Down here I have a DeepMind 12, which is really nice for ambient stuff. I love the hands-on control of everything. And I use this as my main keyboard to trigger anything that I do in the studio within the computer. I have a lot of virtual instruments, but I'm trying really not to go there too much these days. Little fader control thing. I have a looper over here, RC202, which is hooked up in a way that anything I press in bus B over here, my outputs, will go here. So I can live loop anything in the studio, anything that comes up on this board. I have a little Atom SQ controller for controlling some virtual instruments and just transport controls, and a little live tweakability of some knobs of parameters, which is great. Two computers, as you can see. This one is dedicated to music. This one is dedicated for video production. This guy, it's an Intel the video stuff I was doing was, it was just lagging a little bit too much and really getting me frustrated. So I actually, yeah, just upgraded, and I love this thing. It just handles everything. A couple of my favorite pieces, I have to say, are over here. Let me see if you can see it. Hopefully you can. Over here, I have a Lyra 8. Beautiful. Just like this guy. It's like Godzilla. It screams like a monster. It's a little tough to handle, a little hard to keep in tune. Doesn't like to play well with others, but it's a beautiful instrument. SPDX over there, drum trigger, of course. I'm a drummer. A few effects pedals to go through, like I have a little Kambala hooked up, have a microphone over here. And then we come to this side of the room where I have, I don't know when you see my whole apartment, it's messy. So I have a couple sub mixers here, which everything is plugged into. All of my effects over here are coming back into this mixer, and this guy over here kind of handles that side of the room. And then also down here, last but not least, is my Soma Terra. I love this guy. One of the coolest instruments I've ever owned. Really, really nice. I have a video of me playing with it on YouTube, and it came out really nice. It's a beautiful instrument. My effects rack that I have hardwired into the studio, I have beautiful reverb, Maris Mercury X and Maris LVX for delay. They're both stunning. Chase Bliss Mood Mark II, it's great. Generation Loss, Chase Bliss just makes amazing products. Into a slicer, a little kind of cheap pedal, but it does some really cool things, man. I just added that in and I love it, man. It's really nice. And then over here on my master inserts, I have a RNC compressor. I should kind of get you up to here so you can see what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, RNC compressor going into two parametric EQs from Empress. I know it's maybe a little janky, but I don't really have space or can afford a really expensive outboard gear for EQ, and these were somewhat affordable and very powerful and more than do the job. I just have to be meticulous in making sure my settings are all the same, since they're both mono pedals. So that's about it. Oh, and something else I forgot. Just like I can loop anything, if I press my bus B over here on this mixer, I can also send anything I want to another Soma Labs instrument, the Cosmos, which is like, they call it the anti-looping looping pedal. It's great for making ambience, which is something that I love to do. So that's it. That's pretty much all my gear and how I have it hooked up. So let me pop this back up a little bit, flip this over. This is really, really on the fly here. So yeah. So now, hopefully, you know a little bit more about me. I hope you'll like, subscribe, and follow me. Watch me progress in all of this. I don't know what's to come of it. I just know I'm having a really good time. And I'm trying to push myself. I never thought, even a few short months ago, that I'd be saying on camera that I want to do a live performance by the end of the year, solo. It's pretty terrifying, but I think it's what I need to do. But this whole process on YouTube has been about pushing myself, getting out of my comfort zone, and doing things that sometimes are a little scary, but very rewarding. So if there's any of you out there kind of like me, it's never too late, man. I mean, I'm over 50, but I feel like a child inside, and the joy that this brings me, it's amazing. At this point in my life, I feel the need to share with others. Hopefully inspire some others. I know I could have used this inspiration a few decades ago, but at the same time, everything in my life brought me to this point, and I have no regrets. I am truly blessed. I have a few really nice followers who have given me comments that just so motivating, that just make me want to keep going. And also, this is a way of holding myself accountable and seeing my own progress. So enough talk. I probably took up way too much of your time. The next videos are going to be about me working this system out and just essentially practicing a live set, little bits at a time. I really haven't ever had to do transitions yet, so that's something that's going to be new to me, and I just really want to commit all of this gear to muscle memory, so when I am on stage, I don't have to freak out about anything. It's just all intuitive. So that's going to come with daily practice. But in the next week, I am taking a week off. I will try to make a video just using the Digitact. I'm going up to Hokkaido to live with my Japanese in-laws for a week and only speak Japanese. I'm a little scared about that. My wife's not coming with me. It's just going to be me, and I can't take this whole big setup, so I'm just going to take one piece of gear. I'm going to try to load my Digitact up with a lot of samples and create a foundation for what I want to do here when I come back. And they live right off of the beach in the most beautiful area, so I'm going to take a camera and try to do one of those little outside videos if I can. Oh, how am I going to power that outside? Well, maybe it'll be an inside video with a view of the window outside with some B-roll. I don't know, we'll figure it out, but I am definitely going to take some equipment and do some work while I'm there. So anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen. Please like, subscribe, follow me. Please give me some comments. I'm really trying to find a community of like-minded individuals, and we can just support each other, motivate each other. It helps, you know, it definitely helps having a community and a support system behind you. So thanks once again for watching, and have a beautiful day.